The False Night Upon the Road is child ballad number 3, and along with the other handful at the start of the child ballads, it's about a knight who poses riddles and questions to the other characters in the story. In this case, it's a young boy who is challenged by the knight as to where he is going along the road. It doesn't say where the road is, but it's easy to imagine that it's a dark forest or twilight, as the knight turns out to be an analogy for the devil. He attempts to confuse and distract the boy from the boy's path through the forest, but as long as the boy stands still and maintains his focus and his cool and his attention and sticks to the truth of where he's going, what he's meant to be doing, the song implies that he will survive and get to the end of the road. It's therefore quite surprising that the most celebrated versions of this song sound cheery, if anything. They are in major keys and ethereally soaring. You could say that as well of today's recording, submitted by the inimitable and brilliant talent of Greg Hooper, who's set it to piano. Enjoy.
Oh, what brings you here so late? Said the night on the road. I go to meet my God, said the child as he stood. And he stood and he stood, and it's well that he stood. I go to meet my God, said the child as he stood. With a strong staff in my hand, said the child as he stood. Then he stood and he stood, and it's well that he stood. With a strong staff in my hand, said the child as he stood. Oh, how will you go by sea, said the night on the road, with a good boat unto me, said the child as he stood. Then he stood and he stood, and it's well that he stood. With a good boat unto me, said the child as he stood. Oh, methinks I hear a bell, said the night on the road. It's ringing you to hell, said the child as he stood. And he stood and he stood, and it's well that he stood. It's ringing you to hell, said the child as he stood.